This is going into some of the details on our marketing and advertising budget and returns plugin as part of the BizCore forecasts. Um, so this is a little bit of a different approach than you might be used to. From the core plugin, whether it's a services business, product business, food, or lodging business, this is where you're going to establish what your monthly sales projections are going to be. So in this case, we were projecting a total revenue of 243,000 roughly in the first month. So it's great to be able to project these numbers, but you got to figure out, where is this business going to really come from and how much is it going to cost me to get that business. That's where the marketing and advertising comes in. So in marketing and advertising, you've got several different types of marketing, advertising, sales methods that can generate your revenue. So what we've done here again, everything in green can be modified and is data entry. And so here in marketing and advertising, you have this thing called return on ad spend, ROAS. ROAS, I just put return on spend, but it's a multiple of what you spend. So if you spent $100 advertising and this particular marketing channel had a ROAS of 7 historically, you would get $700 in gross revenue. So that's how the ROAS portion works on both your marketing channels and advertising vehicles. Marketing channels is broken out into this category. This is more for your branding type of marketing, your awareness of your brand. Advertising vehicles are a little bit are more specific, where you're targeting specific target markets. And so you would naturally, in advertising vehicles, you would get a little bit of a higher ROAS than you would in your branding. The other sales methods, you've got walk-ins, you've got cold calls, an outside sales force. You could have networking, just going to networking groups, and then existing customer base. A lot of folks start new businesses because they believe that they have a lot of customers for that particular business. So next thing you're going to set is, what percentage of your total revenue are you expecting to get from each of these different marketing methods? And in the cases of here, whether it's like a outside sales force, you're going to pay a 10% commission. Maybe there's some kind of revenue share that you're working. You can set this to 0. Like in walk-ins, really the rev share is going to be 0. And so that'll change all the calculations down here automatically. If you're a brick and mortar type of business, meaning you have a storefront, you've got potential sales from the traffic that's just going by your business. That can be foot traffic, car traffic, and this is traditional methods of trying to project how much business you can get from these. In brick and mortar businesses, these can be pretty substantial. So your traffic count, what percent of traffic are going to turn into customers, what's the average sale, and what's the potential revenue from each of these types of sources of revenue. Now down here is where all those variables now come in. This first number, this is basically your sales goal for that particular month that comes from your services and labor in this case. If this was a products BizCore, this is a products and labor tab. But the sales goal for the month comes in here. And then on your sales from traffic, okay, I put in a penetration percentage. This up here represents if you got 100% of all those people, based on these numbers that you put in, it would be this much in revenue. But with a new business, it's going to take you a little while to penetrate into that. People driving by, seeing your sign, seeing any promotions that you're doing. It's going to take a little while for them to build up and actually stop in. So that's what this line is for. Then coming down here into your marketing channels and advertising vehicles, it's based on what you entered for each of these it's going to come down and tell you what is the required budget to generate that percentage of return that you programmed in up above here. So 15% of your gross revenue coming from whatever marketing channel one is that you name it, which is going to return 7 to 1 on what you spend. Those numbers are automatically going to get calculated down here. Then it's going to give you a total for your marketing channels. Then, especially in branding, okay, you don't get an immediate revenue bump the same day that you start running advertising. It's going to come to you over a period of time. Marketing channels, which is really more your branding, is going to take a little bit longer to off of each campaign that you do. It's going to take a little bit longer to come in, so you're able to introduce a lag for this marketing. Then on advertising, it's a little more tactical. You're going after specific target markets. And so you tend to get a little quicker response. But what this does is it takes into account the ad spend, when you spend the money, and how long it's going to take to actually realize the full results of that particular ad spend. And so this introduces those lags in, very important for cash flow, because this is all going to roll up to your G&A input and your income and expense projections. And so it totals it up down here for your marketing channels and advertising vehicles. Then the revenue coming from other sales methods, okay, is all going to come based on this. And so you've got your walk-ins, and you notice that we changed the rev share down to 0 a minute or two ago. So this took this whole line down to 0 automatically. Then your cold calls, outside sales force, networking, existing customer base, and that's going to give you a total revenue coming in. And because we had this cash flow here, you'll notice that even though we set up the advertising to receive or to get 243,000 in revenue, when you bring in those lags, you're only going to get 187,000. So that's very important for your cash flow. Just to demonstrate that if you took everything down to 0, now because you have no lags, this revenue equals your revenue goal. So I hope you like this approach. Well, one more thing. These expenses here are going to flow automatically into the G&A that we went over in another video. And so here's those revenues that are coming, the expenses associated with generating those individual revenues in this worksheet. Those costs automatically come in and drop in here. The revenues that with the revenue lag winds up coming in as well. So it's a pretty dynamic approach to developing your marketing and advertising budget. Hope you like it, and thanks for watching.